I haven't got a clue. It's all to do with the planning, to be honest with you. Don't know when it's going in or what's happening or what.
What do you think about it? Do you not think it's a bit disappointing to, with all the concerns of the local residents?
Yeah, yeah. We're as much against it as anybody else.
This is Callum Smiles for Rebel News here at Northop Hall in Flintshire, North Wales. And in this small town of about 1,400 people, it looks set to get a migrant makeover, as there are currently plans to house 400 mostly male migrants at the Northop Hall Hotel. So I thought I'd come here and have a look for myself. Britain is going through a migrant crisis. Last year, more than 45,000 people illegally crossed the English Channel in small boats, and this year the numbers are expected to rise again. The UK government is struggling to find accommodation to house the migrants whilst they make their asylum application claims. So far, more than 500 hotels are being used across the UK to house the migrants, and all this is costing the taxpayer more than £6 million per day. So this is Northop Hall Hotel, a once prominent part of the local community. A stable employer, a well-regarded wedding venue, and just an all-round lovely hotel for guests from far and wide to come and stay at. Until the COVID lockdowns, when unfortunately it closed its doors to guests for good. Until 2023, when a foreign investor bought the hotel and is currently renovating it to use as asylum seeker accommodation. So the plans here are audacious to say the least. Inside the hotel in the 41 rooms are where currently they plan to house 156 migrants with free healthcare, dental care, 3 square meals a day, clothing, legal aid, entertainment, you name it, they can probably have it. And then out here in the car park is where they plan on having the modular housing for the other 250 odd migrants. And as you can see, you could probably fit quite a few modular houses. So the new owner of Northop Hall Hotel wants to turn this into initial asylum seeker accommodation, where there's a turnaround of about 400 men every 6 to 8 weeks. Now, to do so, he needs to include modular housing, as there isn't enough room inside. So that means turning this car park and around the back of the hotel into modular housing, which of course would require planning permission. However, he is going through every hoop possible to do so to get hold of that lucrative government contract. This is the back of the hotel where some of the modular housing is going to go. They're going to be stacked one on top of the other with a gap of about wide. Now, this is where they're going to come for about 6 to 8 weeks. So that's 400 migrants every 6 to 8 weeks for an initial 7 years before being moved on to other more permanent accommodation. Now, the local residents, quite rightly, are nervous to speak to the press after what some of the media has portrayed about the local residents. But one of the main concerns they've told us, I should say, one of the many concerns, is with the stacking of the one on top of the other modular housing, they can see into their windows. Locals are understandably outraged at the proposals and have launched a group to oppose what's happening. The Northop Hall Village Action Group have said it's the wrong plan in the wrong place and have launched and started a crowdfunder to help them raise the money for campaign material and for future legal consultation. They posted up images of what the proposed migrant hotel and modular migrant home park might look like. The mock-ups basically show the hotel with modular migrant homes stacked in twos all over the hotel ground. It's clear this is a huge operation being proposed. It's not just the migrants. The number of staffing required will be vast, and so this small Welsh village are expecting an influx of migrants and migrant workers to police the new migrants. You might wonder why Northop Hall. Is there something that makes the village ideal for large-scale initial asylum seeker accommodation? Well, not really. Northop Hall is a beautiful little village, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. They've got an alpaca farm, a bowling club, one pub, a pavilion hall, a cricket club, and well, not much else. I wanted to speak with locals, but have encountered an odd situation. My producer and I messaged dozens of people and posted messages on local community groups. Many people told us of their reluctance to speak to the media after they've been unfairly treated by the mainstream media. So we're in an odd situation in the UK. The mainstream media has terrified people of being labelled right-wing for voicing legitimate concerns, and at the same time will never give legitimate concerns airtime without prefacing them as somehow bigoted or xenophobic. It's pretty obvious why the people in this village would be concerned. Just a quick look on social media and you can see why. One woman said, "I live in the village and apart from the lack of facilities, it's very scary the thought of 400 men of who knows what backgrounds in the village. It's quite intimidating for a single woman. I'm praying this plan does not go ahead." Another says, "And not to mention in the military we would class these 400 men as fighting age males. Concerning. I've seen this before overseas working with the UK Armed Forces and as a contractor. I feel sorry for the local areas. I know what's coming. People in government and local councils need to wake up quickly before it's too late." Others express similar concerns with what's happening. One woman spoke about her experiences with the migrant accommodation in Penally, South Wales. "I live in Penally, a small village in Pembrokeshire which a few years ago had its small old army barracks turned into an asylum/immigration centre. I must make it very clear I am not racist in any way, but giving my first-hand experience. The men were all free to wander and roam, with groups of men wandering around the village, sometimes in the early hours of the morning. There's a lot of elderly living in the village who would not go out on their daily walks. Security at the camp was minimal/laughable, to be honest, despite what promises the Home Office gave. To have a day without the police being called to the barracks was rare. There was regular fighting in the barracks. They tried to set fire to the barracks. The strain on the police could be seen. Don't rely on the BBC to tell the true picture. They won't at all. I sympathise with you all." Concerned Northop Hall residents echoed their concerns. One woman, fearing the migrant accommodation would overlook her property, said, "On a personal note, I'm terrified and so is the rest of my family. All of our windows, including my 2-year-old granddaughter's bedroom, will be overlooked by the people." Others online expressed their concern with how inappropriate the proposals are and stressed the village must unite to stop what's happening. The hotel itself has several properties and businesses attached to it. Several of the residents told us they didn't want to appear on camera because ITV and the BBC had previously tried to portray the community's opposition to the asylum seeker accommodation as being racist. The owner of the neighbouring cattery told us she was concerned with the prospect of 400 single men being placed next door. Another neighbour told us they were worried about the sheer numbers. 400 men being placed next door to their house in the local community on rotation every 6 to 8 weeks. Other locals in the area told us they were concerned about the prospect of 400 men having free rein to roam the surrounding area. One person told us, "These people won't have had any proper background checks or been vetted, and they'll be free to come and go whenever they please." So that brings my fact-finding mission here in Northop Hall to an end. And what can I say? Well, it's another situation where potentially hundreds of migrants are going to be dumped on the doorsteps of the people in this small village, and it is far from ideal. The government keeps saying they're going to stop the boats, however, the numbers keep going up, which can only mean one thing. This situation, which is far from ideal here in this small village, could be happening in a town or village near you. This has been Callum Smiles for Rebel News, covering the migrant crisis in North Wales. Unlike the BBC and ITV, who appear to have gone to North Wales to portray these people's genuine concerns as racists, we have gone there to bring you the truth and to set the record straight. And we couldn't do it without your help. So please, if you want to continue to see reports like this, please head over to migrantreports.co.uk and help with our modest expenses so we can continue to bring you the news that matters. That's migrantreports.co.uk.